Now, the boss of the United States pharmaceutical company Moderna says current coronavirus vaccines may be less effective against this new Omicron variant. So just how worried should we be? Let's talk to Dr. Mohammed Monir, virologist at Lancaster University. Doctor, welcome back. Good to see you again. How much of a setback is Omicron for our existing vaccines?
Well, if it is proven to be right that the vaccines are less effective against Omicron, that is going to be a big blow for already derailed vaccine system in developing countries. That means that the vaccine need to be retweaked and it need to be retested. That is around 3 to 4 months process. And that means that the current vaccine would be less acceptable and there would be increased vaccine hesitancy. So let's hope that there will be little or no reduction in the vaccine efficacy. But given the amount and the magnitude of those mutations at a very critical site within the spike protein, it is likely that the vaccine wouldn't be fully effective as it has been even against Delta.
Now, you are the perfect guest to be talking to today because I know you've been working on developing, I think, a nasal vaccine. I wonder how will the arrival of Omicron impact your research? Do you have to tear everything up and start again? How does it work?
Yes, absolutely. That is a big challenge in the vaccine development, is that once the vaccine reach to a point of GMP, it's called good manufacturing practice, is a purified material that goes for the clinical trial. It's almost irreversible because you can only go forward. You can't go back because otherwise you got to restart the process. And that is where majority of the time it takes the time to develop that part. But our intranasal approach is really to tackle these problems because we know that this virus entered through the nose and mouth. So if we can protect that area, basically we are nipping the virus at the bud, and that is the way we're going to reduce the transmission and increase the mucosal immunity. And I've always been given an example. That is the reason that our port of entries are always stronger in terms of security, so that the illegal entry of any person would be blocked. That is the same way of nasal administration, because if we do so, the virus entry can be significantly reduced, and that will affect onto the transmission, and that is ultimately we have to achieve.
Now, I know we are on the very early days of new cases yet, so I appreciate this is a difficult question, but how long until we confirm the efficacy of these existing vaccines against Omicron?
Yesterday evening, we had our WHO expert panel meeting onto the COVID-19 vaccine, and we have discussed very thoroughly what we need to do to answer the pressing question. And in the scientific community, the most important question is exactly the same as you ask, whether the vaccines are effective or not. To test the vaccine efficacy against this new variant, we have to isolate this virus in the laboratory so that we can test that one against the vaccine. At the moment, it's only 1 or 2 laboratories that are having it. So in next 2 to 3 weeks, we will be, majority of the laboratory workers would have this access to the virus. That is the time when we will have answer to really definitively telling that this variant is going to escape the immunity, or to what level it would escape the immunity. And afterward, it would be questioned about the transmission and its reinfection potential.
For people watching around the world who may have had 1 dose or 2 doses, or perhaps even all 3, the booster jab as well, what is the answer to the question, just how worried should we be about this new variant?
Well, I usually give an example. A bird in hand is better than 13 in bushes. While we are working on to answer those questions and identify if the vaccine is effective or not, what we have in hand is the booster jab, current vaccines. Even if these vaccines would be less effective, they cannot be completely knocked out, because all variants that have been identified so far, none of the variants have completely managed to unroot the effect of the vaccine. So there will always be some level of protection. Therefore, it is critical that carry on doing the vaccination, because higher the level of antibodies in the body, even if some of the antibodies are not very effective against this new variant, still because of the high level, it would give quite good protection from hospitalization and death. So my message would be that if you are offered and if you are eligible for the booster jab, please do take so.
Dr. Monir, good luck with your work, and thanks very much once again for talking to us on the programme. That's Dr. Mohammed Monir, the virologist at Lancaster University.